think I actually got that pretty good. Hey. Alright, what's up? Let's talk about guitar. I figured I'd jump on here and share some guitar knowledge with some people, some folks. So I was on YouTube the other day, and I was watching a guitar video, and I'm scrolling through the comments, like I do. And let's see if I can shed some light on some of this, and hopefully do it in a simple, easy to understand way. I hope. Questions they had, questions about intervals, item 1, scales, item 2, and what to do with them, item 3. Grab a pen and some paper, you know, if you want to write these down, or if you want to play along and say them out loud and memorize this stuff, and just, you know, if you write it down, I find that helps me memorize things. So, you know, pause it, grab paper or grab your guitar, and then come back and we'll go over these things. No click, no thank you. All right. Bring this up. All right, man. All right, man. What's up, man? Okay. All right, I'm back. I got different clothes on. We're at a different angle here. You can see my head. I got caught up doing some other work, and I didn't really like how the old recording was going, so I decided to come back and finish what I started. Got my guitar, got my beer, got my cat pillow back here. I don't know why I'm looking over there. Got my cat pillow. We're ready to go. All right. Prost. So, we're talking what is an interval. Then we're going to look at a scale, in particular the A major scale, because that's what I played in the little opening riffage there. And then we'll name the degrees of the scale, or the intervals as they're called. And then we'll look at the ones that I used in particular in that riff. Yeah, and then later on in a different video probably, if you want, you know, if you're curious as to know like what all the intervals are, you could do like a chromatic scale and start on like an A and then play all the way up to another A and name every interval in between. Because you got, you know, many types of scales. And depending on what the notes are in the scale, that, you know, the interval, like I said, is a distance. So depending on what the distance is, you know, it all goes together. Take notes or play this stuff a bunch and say it to yourself, or come back and watch this video a bunch. I had to do that. To memorize all this stuff, I just had to keep going back to it, whether it was in a book or in a video or reading it online or whatever it was, or playing it. I just had to keep going back to it over and over and over, and eventually I got it down. So do that stuff. Okay, so an interval is a distance. Now we're going to look at the A major scale. So the A major scale starts on the 5th fret. Well, it starts on an A note. Shouldn't have said that. It starts on an A note. You could start it from any A note you want, if you know where all your A notes are. You got one here. You got one here. You got one here. You got another one here. There's another one here. And another one here. So you could start from any one of those A notes and then play the A major scale. Here's how it goes. It goes A, root. We're then going to move a whole step, or 2 frets, which is a major second. Then we move another whole step, which is, now we're at our major third. That's the first 3 notes, A, B, C sharp. major second, major third. Now we jump down to the next string, and we play the same frets again, 5, 7, 9. We have perfect fourth. So from A, and it's good to like revisit the root and play back, play from the root to each note. That way you can hear like from, A to B, or A to C sharp, and then A to D. And do it all over the place. It sounds like a song already. When you do that, it just sounds like a thing. Like, cool. I get excited. Okay, now then, 5th fret. 7th fret is our perfect 5th. That's the note E. And then we go 9th fret again, which is our major 6th, which is the note F sharp. So we've got root, major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th. And again, you should do it from like every... Tricky there, if you go from the G string to the B string, you gotta shift over because the B string is tuned a half step down. So A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, or if you do it all on one string, that is helpful to see how all the steps work. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Then we only have 2 notes left. We have our major 7th, which is now we're on the D string here, we're fret 6. And then we go to fret 7, we're back on A, which is our root. So we've got root, major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th, major 7th, root. And again, do this starting from every A note. If you want to learn the fretboard, that's how I had to do it. If you can think of another way to do it, then by all means, more power to you. Because different things work for, different folks. Different strokes for different folks. I think that's what they say. So, root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, root. And the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th are either major or minor. The 4th and 5th are either perfect, or you could have we get into it in another video. So if you want to learn all the intervals, shout out that you want to learn that stuff, and we'll do it. So we got our A major scale. Now that riff that I played there, that sweet riffage at the beginning. I'm playing a power chord, and I kind of include the root with it, so the power chord is or I should say the octave. The power chord is the root and the 5th. And I got a little palm mute action going on there. And then, excuse me. And I included the octave, but then I use that finger to come over here and hit this note. Now, this note wasn't in the scale that I played, but it is the 2nd. So when I was playing the riff on the A chord here, this A power chord, I reached down here with my middle finger and I played the major 3rd. Then then the major second. And then I went root, seventh root. And then at the end, I just did like a variation, and I went back the other way. And then I moved to the third chord of the key. So I went to the C sharp. So with this scale, you can add these notes on top of little chords to make riffs. And if you know how it goes together, it helps. But if really, you just have to know what notes sound good with other chords. I have friends that play guitar, I think I said this earlier, and they don't know what any of this stuff's called, but they can play really well and sound awesome because they listen to a ton of music and they play a lot. I don't learn like that, or at least I did when I was young, but now I'm 33 and I don't learn that well. So I gotta do things differently. So you can take your scale and you can make chords. For example, we have the root chord, an A power chord. And you could do power chords all the way through the whole key if you want. So you've got your root, right, where you have your A and your fifth. Now you can just move this root up to the second, and this note moves up accordingly. So now you have your second, and then you have a fifth away from your second. So now we have a B power chord. Now if you move both of these up again, you'd have a C sharp power chord. And you'll notice that I played the C sharp over here on the A and D string, so that I could get these little squealy notes. Rather than playing it over here. Because, and it's a shorter distance to move. I don't have to move all the way over here. I can just pop, just move it right there. And you play through the whole key as power chords. This will help you hear the key, as like a simple chord, 2-note chord. And now you go down to the next set of strings. So we have D and the fifth from D. We have E and the fifth from E. And then we have F sharp and the fifth from F sharp. And you get like loads of sweet riffs out of that. I mean, any classic rock song you can think of is played with these power chords. It's pretty fun. So do that. That's a fun way to hear your key. And you could do it on 2 sets of strings, like with the E and A and then the A and D. Or you could just do it all the way down the 2 low strings and hear your key. And if you can, if you know where these notes are here in this little area, right? I'm just kind of playing in this little zone here. But if you know that you can play these notes, like I said earlier, you can play all these notes everywhere, right? So if you can play these notes everywhere, you can play these chords everywhere. And eventually you can map the entire key of A major all over the fretboard and know how to use it, which is what I was doing in the riff. Adding the third, the second, root, seventh root. And then I go to the third chord here, the C sharp. And then I grab the minor third now, and this might be like a curveball throwing you off, because if you go back a little bit or reference your notes if you took any, you're going to be like minor third. But you said major third. You said when you played through the scale, you went root, major second, major third. But the third chord is minor. So now, if we're not talking just power chords, but if we're talking full chords, we've got major, minor, minor. And if we play the C sharp here as a minor, this note on the B string is the minor third. Whoop, no, A major. And if you're an extra sharp cookie, you probably noticed that when I move from the A major to the C sharp minor, it's the same shape with your fingers. You just move down a string and over a fret. And then, if you're extra sharp, you'll notice that that minor third in the C sharp, well, you might not notice, but it's underneath my finger here when I'm playing the A major chord. It's here underneath my index finger on this B string. It's also in the C sharp minor as the minor third. So when I was riffing on that chord, I grabbed that note and I let it go and I went back here. That's going from a third to a second, so you would call that like a sus2, a suspended second. So you're taking away the third and replacing it with a 2. And then I did the same thing with my pinky. I lifted my pinky from the root, the octave. I have the C sharp and the octave here, and I lifted my pinky. That would take me back 2 frets. And now I'm on the, another curveball here, I'm on the minor 7th of C sharp, even though the key of A has a major 7th. That's A major. When we move to the third chord of A major, the third chord is C sharp minor. And if you lift the pinky away, that makes a C sharp minor 7. Minor 7. And it is such because if I were to only move back 1 fret, like I had said before with A major, from the root back 1 fret is the major 7th. Right? You're only moving the octave back 1 fret. That's because A major has a major 7th in this key. C sharp minor would have a minor 7th. Minor chords have minor 7ths, unless you're playing in like a, what's it called? Harmonic minor or melodic minor. Those keys have chords that have like a major minor 7th. So you get like this, you get this crazy sound versus this is like your standard, minor 7th chord is you just take your minor bar chord and then lift your pinky. And again, the reason for this is that in the key of A, or in any key, you just have those notes. So when I'm playing a C sharp minor and I took my finger from the octave here, if I were to move it back 1 fret, well, that's just taking us to a C natural. And a C natural is not in the key of A. In the key of A, the C note is a C sharp. So when we're playing the C sharp minor and we want to use the 7th of that chord, we have to go back 2 frets, and it's a minor 7th, because this note, C natural, is not in the key of A major. It doesn't exist in the key of A major. Again, because the key of A major is just these 7 notes: A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And you'd play those 7 notes all over the fretboard. That gives you the key of A major. So I'm riffing between those 2 chords. A power chord, or like with an octave, but then sometimes I move my finger to grab other notes. And then C sharp here, and it's going to be minor because I'm going to grab this note. If this stuff is, if I'm losing you, just go back, watch it again. You'll absorb it. The more times you go through it, you'll absorb it. Don't get frustrated and give up. You know, don't put stuff down and give up just because you're frustrated. Like, if I'm not explaining this 100% to your liking, I mean, take some notes, play it a whole bunch. And really, once you put this together and you piece it together, it's super easy to understand. It's just hard in the beginning because it's a lot of information and it's a lot to take in. So give yourself some time to absorb it. And in order to do that, I recommend playing it a bunch. And even though there's tons of videos where they tell you playing scales up and down is a waste of time, what it helped me to do was to learn a key. Learn a key and learn how it works. Learn... Excuse me. It helped me to learn a key. Learn where all the notes are in the key. So, you know, I wouldn't just play the A major scale here. I would play it all over the entire neck, everywhere I could. And every chord, all over the neck, everywhere I could. So the chords are A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor. Then you get your sweet G sharp diminished. I guess this one's got a double, they call it a double flat 7. I don't know. Again, I learned the chord. I know that that's where it goes. And then I'm back to A. It sounds dope, right? I mean, when you play the whole thing, see? A, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, or you could play it here. Oof, sounds good. And then you got your good old G sharp diminished double flat 7. If you didn't use the double flat 7, I guess, you know what, we're not going to get it. So A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished, and then we're back to A. And you will have noticed that I played all those chords in different places from where I previously played them. That's the whole point. You learn all the chords for the key of A everywhere. Learn all the notes for the key of A everywhere. Once you get one key under your fingers and you understand how it works, it's super easy to transfer all this information to another key. You just take the pattern and you scoot it over to wherever you need it. If you want to then play in the key of G, you just scoot over here and start on G. And then you play the chords the same way. G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished, and then G. So learn one key, learn the chords for that key, and then like what I did, I'm just, now what you use the scale for, right? You can riff and put some of the notes in with your chords, you know, or whatever you can think of. That's the cool part. You can be super duper creative. And you know, I mean, if you watch tons of guitar players, they're playing all kinds of crazy stuff nowadays. It just is a matter of how you use the notes. I mean, we're all using the same thing with the same notes they have. Everyone's got the same information. Maybe it's packed into your head a little differently for all of us, but everyone uses it differently, and that's kind of the cool thing, really. You find your own way and find your own style of how to play, which is what I'm in the process of doing. I'm trying to, you know, I'm learning how to make riffs and how do I make stuff sound cool. You know, if I want to make some super heavy riff, I put on my tube screamer overdrive here, and then I start going at it with some heavy riffage. Not in the key of A, but the idea is that once you learn some notes and, you know, you put this stuff together in different ways, and then you could also play without even using a key. Just play stuff and see what sounds cool together. I mean, like once I figured out how keys worked, and then I learned some Nirvana songs, and I was like, what is going on here? This isn't, it doesn't follow a thing, but it sounds awesome. All you have to do is know what stuff to put together and how to make it sound cool. If you took notes, good, or if not, come back, watch it again, play the scale everywhere like I did, play the chords everywhere like I did. If you don't know all the chords or how to move through scales like this, if you want like some instruction on how to like do that type of stuff, I'm more than happy to help too. I can more than happy to throw some stuff up here on the internet and share my knowledge with everyone. I don't mind. So leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit me up, let me know what kind of stuff we should get into in the future, because I have absolutely no direction with this thing here. I'm just gonna make it up as I go. Peace out for now. Say bye to the cat. Late.